Should I call you a beautiful person the way that I did when I walked in, when I was on a different planet? Hi, beautiful person.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know what's gotten into me.
Is this on? We're doing it?
Yeah, we're doing it. We're here.
Oh, cool.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. This was spontaneous, but you're everybody's favorite guest. So every time we can slide you in spontaneously, we do.
Cool.
And we are here. And today we are going to do a Q&A. People sent in so many questions, and you have just spent quite a few minutes scrolling through them and circling your faves.
It was like 3 minutes.
Where do you want to start?
I don't know. I just circled the ones that I liked.
Well,
we're just diving right in.
we're just gonna dive
This is
in.
not you. Let's go.
I mean, do you want to catch up?
No. Let's fucking go.
Okay, before we get into the questions.
No. Why did I even say
What
anything?
have you been up to lately?
Damn it.
Because I don't know.
ruined
It's
it.
like I don't see you every day. Just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, what have I been up to? Just being a dad and
Best dad.
and working.
How's work?
Work. How's work?
How's
Thanks for
work, my
asking.
colleague?
Bub, work is great. Yeah, it is. It's work.
Every time Jonathan talks about work, he goes like, he starts to treat me like a colleague. And he goes like, work is work. And we're really busy and we're really focused on the next project.
I just don't like talking about work when I'm at home.
I mean, we're not at home.
I guess we're not.
We're in the wild.
We are. Mm-hmm. Work is going great. I have a full team. I think there's like 7 or 8 that are direct reports now, and they are awesome. I love every one of them. They're my little children.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of fun together.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And last night, you actually ended up seeing my favorite band in the entire world.
By accident.
Dashboard Confessional. Are you freaking kidding me?
So, funny story. My brother hits me up on Tuesday night saying, tomorrow night I have tickets to see the Counting Crows. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. He's like, I'm going to go with Mom unless you want to come. And I'm thinking to myself, Mom's not going to Inglewood, bro. On a Wednesday night.
Mom doesn't leave Calabasas.
Mom doesn't leave Calabasas. And I just felt really bad. So I was like, I'll go with you to Counting Crows.
And you were excited.
I was excited. Any opportunity to hang with my brother was awesome. Counting Crows Live, great show. And we're there, and he's like, oh, and by the way, Dashboard is opening. And I was like, oh, shit, that's cool.
You guys were still at home.
Yeah.
And Adam's like, we don't have to get there early because who cares about Dashboard Confessional? And
They're opening.
I peeked up. I was like, are you kidding me? I've never been so jealous in my life.
Yeah, it was a pretty good show. The lead singer from Counting Crows did
Taylor Swift.
I'm on my new shit. That song from Taylor Swift.
She did All Too Well, or he did All Too Well. It was so good. It's
pretty
I'll post it on my story because you sent it to me. And the other new thing in your life is that you've gotten 3 tattoos.
I have. I've gotten some tats.
Tell us about the tats.
Okay, I guess we are. I got Atticus's name on my wrist.
Show the camera. Atticus.
I wrote that myself. And then I got Born Together right above my heart, which is kind of a piece from our vows, really, that, our life started together. Mm-hmm. And my best friends, Drew and Josh, when we were like 20, said we're all going to get the same tattoo. 1999, which was the year we all became friends. And maybe a couple years after that, they got them, and I never did. Mm-hmm. So, 15 years later, ended up getting it. And, yeah, just did all 3 at the same time.
They look so good, and I'm so obsessed. I love that I have a tatted husband. It's so hot.
Oh, my God.
It's so sexy.
I'm
a
just
tatted man.
Just get some neck tats.
I mean, I don't want any neck tats, but
no regrets.
Keep filling the arms.
I got some ideas.
I mean, I love it. So let's get into the Q&A.
Let's do it.
I know you're excited.
Cool. Before we do get in the Q&A, though, how are you doing?
Oh, thank you.
How you feeling? Tell the peeps.
I mean, it has been a wild couple weeks. That's one of the reasons why Jonathan's here today, because I ended up having to postpone all of my guests in the last couple weeks, and then I found myself getting behind. So I called on the troops. I called on my husband. I called on Krista. She's coming in. We're not necessarily sure what's going on. Something going on with my abdomen where the pains have just been so intense. I think I'm boring Jonathan because he's yawning.
I didn't yawn. I had something in my eye.
You held back a yawn.
I did not.
But it's okay. He's heard this story so many times.
I would not yawn at that.
No, I know. It's just been an intense time. So I'm grateful to be feeling good today and to be here and just taking it day by day. Oh, now he's really tired. Well, I'm excited. I'm going to Santa Fe next week for a girls' trip. We have Cabo coming up.
I love that you say girls' trip. It's a bachelorette party. You're
It's a
gonna
girls'
get
trip.
shit-faced.
I don't drink.
I know.
I'm going to go to the spa so hard.
So much cucumber water.
Yes, pounding the cucumber water with the lemon. So things are pretty good. I mean, I love being Atticus's mom. I feel like the three of us have so much fun together.
This is a fun age.
Yes, I think just he's officially a kid now. It's like we are a family. We go to the beach as a family. We go on a hike as a family. It's so fun.
It is kind of nuts. He hears the same words. He's been hearing the same words like for probably a year.
2 years.
No, but like for a year, like hearing them and understanding them, but just not being able to communicate back that he understands it. So if like at this age right now, or if we're like, do you want me to put you down? And he's like, It's like, did you want to go take a bath? And then he like runs to the bath. Like
he's so smart.
Like he listens
Yeah.
and he takes action because he hears what we say and he knows
He
what those words
understands
are.
everything.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's so cute.
It's very cute.
So cute. So with that, why don't we head into our Q&A?
Let's do it.
We have a ton of good questions from the listeners. Where do we want to start? Cassie Johanna says, what's something that you guys argue about?
Oh wow, you could have picked many, and that was the first one that you.
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I'm into it.
We've never answered this.
Okay, what do we argue about? Not going to get into me always being wrong in every argument, but what do we argue about? I'd say the stupidest shit
So stupid.
ever. I don't think we've ever had an argument that wasn't stupid.
It's always has the stupidest
And when I say
root.
stupid, I mean, like,
Silly.
why did you say it that way? What do you mean? I didn't say it that way. No, you did. You said it that way. Oh, well, like, sorry, I didn't mean it. Your apology isn't sincere. What the fuck are we arguing about?
We're both
It spirals.
so sensitive. Cancer moon, Pisces moon. And I think we both just get our feelings hurt. And then from there, I think you tend to be a little moody. I tend to be a little sassy. And that combination can be explosive, which having a kid, having a toddler, sometimes you're just not getting adequate sleep.
Yeah, there's that. What we should argue about is saying things in the moment, you know? Like if you use my toothbrush, which I'm not
Which
a
I do
fan.
every day.
Yeah.
Because I like it.
I know.
Because
You
what's
have the
yours
same
is
one.
mine.
You have the same one.
It's not the same.
Mine is thinner.
Yours vibrates more. Like we both have electric toothbrushes and mine is like a slow kind of like rickety vibration and yours just cleans the teeth so much better.
Okay. Well, like, totally cool with you using it. Just take one of our washcloths and clean it so that it's dry.
I'm kind of a messy teeth brusher.
And not like me holding this slobbery toothbrush after. So instead of what I mean by what we should argue, instead of me saying, Jordan, like when you use my toothbrush, please just take a washcloth and dry it off. And doing that every single time she brushes her teeth with my toothbrush. Instead, I just don't say anything. And then, like, she'll move a dish sideways and I'll be like, what the fuck? And then it turns into the weirdest thing that I end up exploding over. But really, the root is I'm just, like, harboring inside all the, little things that she does, and I'm just not saying them in the moment.
So don't harbor, everybody listening. Just try to speak what you're upset about, which I think everybody can improve.
It's a double-edged sword, though.
Myself as well.
Like, do you annoy the person by saying every day, like, hey, dry my toothbrush? Or do you just have that one explosion that we've gotten really good? It's like maybe an hour total we'll fight. Used to be like 4. Before that, it was like 8.
I mean, there was Saladgate.
Oh, my God.
Saladgate, which we've talked about on the podcast.
One time.
When Jonathan kicked a salad.
It was already on the floor.
And there was quinoa dripping from the ceiling. And that was probably like a 6-hour fight.
For
it
the
was
record,
horrible.
It was a sweet green salad sitting on the floor. I kicked it at nobody.
Oh, well, of course. If you kicked it at somebody, we would have a problem.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
Okay, but we didn't. Okay, yeah.
We answered.
We answered. We also argue about parenting stuff. I think we're kind of different when it comes to the parenting. I am very cautious. I don't want Atticus jumping on the trampoline without one of us holding his hand. And you're like, just do it. Just let him be a kid.
No, that's not what I say.
What? What do you say?
I believe that you can keep your hands close by should he jump sideways. You're there engaged, ready to catch him. But it's important that they learn how to jump on their own and run.
But he is only 20 months.
He's not even jumping.
Well, he's trying.
He is, and he's got to learn it. So we, I guess, argue about little things like that also.
It's small. Everything that we argue about is small. And I think that that's a good lead in to the next question.
By the way, my method is a Montessori method to teaching your kids to be independent. And I learned that because I know that you were looking at Montessori schools. So I was trying to learn what style of schooling our kid would be, or kids would be getting. So I'm really just following instructions really well.
No, it's true.
You just don't know how to let go.
I don't. I mean, I grew him in my belly. I just want to protect him. But you're totally correct. When it comes to Montessori and the Rye method and everything that I like, you let the kids do their own thing. So it's true. I can let go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so that leads into the next question, which a lot of people wanted to know. How did we know that each other were the one?
I mean, that's silly.
It's not silly because there's so many people listening who are looking for the one. So we got to answer that question.
I knew immediately.
Immediately when we were friends, or immediately when we started dating?
Made the decision to ask you out, that if you said yes, then you're the person I'm going to marry and be with for the rest of my life.
How did you know?
I just did.
I know, but we got to answer it specifically because there's people who are really not sure. They're looking for their person.
So I think with you, I knew that if we ended up together that I would be really happy. And I know the person that you are, and I know that you would treat me really well, and how you treat your people in your life, you treat really well. I just knew that if, and it could be me just being naive. I could have been like, I knew that she was the one and it was going to be it, and then you could have turned out to be completely different, and then I would have been like, guess I was wrong. But I don't know. I just knew. Like every other girl I dated before, it was like maybe in time, like either I will be what they want or they'll be what I want. And yeah, it just wasn't like that.
I love what you said. And it's that classic cliche saying, when you know, you know. And I think that's what you're referring to. And I would say, even when we were friends, and so for everybody listening who probably might not know our origin story, we were friends for 2.5 years before we started dating. So we definitely had a leg up in knowing who each other are, knowing our moods, knowing the pros and cons of everything about our personalities. So it was nice when we started dating. Nothing was a surprise. I already knew that Jonathan was moody. He already knew that I was sassy. I mean, on like our third date, remember we were walking down Montana and you were in such a horrible mood. And if you were somebody who I didn't know and we were just on our third date, I would be like, red flag, not into this person.
Damn.
But you're somebody who I had known and loved as a friend for years. And so later that afternoon, you texted me. You said, sorry, I'm pretty overwhelmed with work. Wasn't necessarily acting like my best self today. And it was so easy to just be like, wow, here's a self-aware man. And he's already acting like himself again. So what I'm saying is we already knew all those little ins and outs about each other. And we also knew all the wonderful things about each other. And even before we started dating, I think I knew subconsciously that Jonathan was the one. Because at your 30th birthday, I was talking, I mean, Jonathan has incredible friends. All of his guy friends are good looking, they're fun, they're amazing. And back then, a lot of them were single. Not really now, unfortunately, or otherwise we'd set them up with other women friends. But I remember being at your 30th birthday and Alexi, who's one of my best friends, we were talking to all the guys and she was like, you should hook up with this person tonight. And I said drunkenly back then, because I was 26, I don't know, I kind of feel like I'm going to end up marrying Jonathan. And because of that, I'm not going to hook up with any of his friends. And
Sweet.
I just remember looking at her. I remember her looking at me and saying, oh my God, if you feel like you're going to marry Jonathan, just be with Jonathan. And I just knew that when the timing was right, we would. And 6 months later, we started dating.
Well, I also think people just, thank you for saying all that. I also think people just ignore the signs way too often. So, like, if you came up to me and you were like, I don't know if I should eat the ice cream. Like, you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's going to hurt your stomach. You know the answer. But, like, we tend to ignore the truth. We are in denial almost. Like, if you have that one friend that, you know, there could be sparks, you're like, I don't know. Like, we're really good at being in denial about certain things. Like we know the answer more often than we don't. We just choose to ignore it.
Because it's scary. It's scary to align with that truth and potentially get hurt. So I can see why. And I always tell Jonathan something that I've been so attracted to him since day one for is how brave.
My abs.
How brave he is.
Oh, that.
It is so brave to put yourself out there and tell your friend that you're into them. Because if it's not reciprocated, the friendship could change, the friendship could be over, depending on the people. Probably wouldn't have been over for us, but you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And that's brave. And I've had so many guy friends who I know there have been like feelings between us. I'm talking like early in my 20s. And they were not brave at all. They were cowards. And if I put myself out there and said like, hey, we're hanging out a lot, I feel like there's something between us. Even then they were cowards. They were like, no, like, I don't want to mess up our friendship. I don't know, like,
No.
You're such a nice girl. And I feel like as the nice girl and you are the nice guy, I feel like people who are cowardly are afraid to be with somebody who is genuine and who goes deep because they're afraid to hurt that person. I'm kind of like doing a whole psychoanalysis right now.
Yeah,
is this over your head?
I mean,
should I have this conversation with a female friend? But
yeah, if we want to get through like maybe one more question before the pod's over, you know?
Are you kidding? We're going to have so many more questions. I'm just saying.
This is what happens. It's a Q&A. I answer my question in like 30 seconds. Jordan answers her question
I give a dissertation.
In like 20 minutes.
It's okay. We'll go on to the next question. I think all the listeners will know what I'm talking about.
They will.
With what I just said. Okay, somebody says, if you have done couples therapy, what type of therapy has worked best?
So I wanted to do couples therapy because she wanted me to see a therapist. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to see a therapist. Like, I'll go to couples therapy because then I could talk shit on you and I'll have somebody to help, you know?
You wish.
I do. But ended up just getting my own therapist, and that has been great. I would be open to couples therapy, but like I said, I feel like it's just an opportunity to just shit on the other person and you have someone like mediate. It's like you're in a boxing ring and like you have a referee, like versus like I'm with my trainer in my corner and you're in your trainer with your corner, and then, you know, we could duke it out, if you will, with the appropriate skills, all metaphorically speaking.
Absolutely. First of all, I agree and disagree because I think couples therapy is not for fighting. It's not like you go in there and you have this mediator. It's also for talking about anything, and I think it could be super beneficial at some point. But the reason that I had you get a therapist is because I've been in therapy since I was 5. And I felt as if we go straight into couples therapy, like after we had a kid and things were we saw a whole new dynamic between us. I felt I've done so much therapy and you don't really know the therapy model because you hadn't done therapy to then go into couples therapy. I didn't just feel that it would be like a good playing field for us. So I don't know if you agree, but I think now that you have a therapist, we could definitely explore couples therapy if we needed to, if we wanted to. But I feel like we're really good and we're both working on ourselves with our therapists.
Yeah.
And if 2 people are working on themselves, that's the best you can ask for.
So I think the big takeaway is most guys are like me, I'm assuming. If they've never done therapy, it would be like, let's go into couples therapy. And taking the approach where you kind of work on yourself, maybe with your own therapist, and then if that doesn't kind of you don't find the answers that you need, or then, you know, at a later time you could explore the couples route. But
I'm definitely open to it. I think we would have to find a therapist who's not my therapist, who's not your therapist. I wanted to do couples ketamine therapy.
Absolutely not.
I wanted to do that so bad.
Never.
And then
Absolutely not.
I spiraled on a mental health descent after doing 6 sessions of ketamine. So thankfully, we did not go that direction.
I will never do ketamine.
Because you had a bad experience with ketamine and it was not therapeutic.
Correct.
Yeah. But I would also say, I feel that we've done a lot of therapeutic things together. We've done ayahuasca ceremonies together where I have witnessed your death and I have held your hand and you have witnessed my spiral and you've been my rock. So we've done a lot of non-traditional therapeutic modalities.
This is therapeutic.
This is therapy. If you get on the microphone with your husband or your significant
other, you don't even
other,
have to record it. You could just fake it.
It is like, damn, this is what you have to say about me? Therapy.
I love you.
I love you. But I'm not also downplaying couples therapy. I think a lot of people highly benefit from couples therapy. So if you do couples therapy, I think that's amazing. I don't think that means there's anything wrong with your relationship. Next question. I love this question. This is from KBella88. Where are all the awakened masculine men hiding?
Is that a question for me?
That's a question. You circled it.
Well, I circled that I'd be okay with that being one of the questions.
Let's discuss.
I don't know where they are.
I mean, how did you become one? Let's start there.
Wait, hold on.
You are an awakened divine masculine man.
Oh my God.
You're living in your divine masculine.
Are you hearing this?
Nick, are you in your divine masculine?
Wait, am I divine masculine?
Yeah.
I've actually never heard that term before.
I haven't heard this term, but it sounds like a lot of responsibility.
Let me Google it so that I can give it the proper.
I mean, all I know is the Divine Feminine is the name of a Mac Miller album that I love.
Okay, let me tell you guys.
I don't know what this Divine Feminine
Jonathan
stuff is.
and Nick and all of the men and women listening, divine masculinity is marked by action. This energy represents leadership, taking charge, and doing rather than being. Unlike feminine energy, which is meant to teach us to let things flow and come to us. Think I don't chase, I attract vibes. Masculine energy teaches us to follow through. I would also say that divine masculine energy is a man who's comfortable with the feminine parts of themselves and with the feminine energy in their life, kind of being the one to let things flow.
Okay.
I think people who are not living in their divine masculine can be kind of threatened by the feminine energy, or can be threatened by, what am I saying? They can be more easily emasculated, not your wife making more money than you or anything.
It's true. It's
so
married myself a boss bitch.
Marry yourself a sugar mama. Just kidding. That's what he says when we're at the grocery store.
Anytime she pays for anything, I'm like, yeah, I got myself a sugar mama.
And people don't know how to react. The cashiers are like, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
It's amazing. However, back to the question. I know you and I talk about this.
I think I could answer it.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot of really masculine activities that I love and partake in. Boxing, rock climbing, Ironman, trail running, anything like that is like where I get tons of joy, and they're looked at as very masculine, activities. Jinx. But then in the same breath, I, will go to a Pilates class. I'll do yoga. I love poetry. Like, there are things that, I love a good rom-com. Like,
yes.
I just, there's...
Sobbing to The Notebook.
Well, I don't sob to The Notebook.
Yes, you do.
I sob to other things.
You sob to The Notebook.
What the fuck? Just publicly shaming me
It's
right
not
now.
A shame.
My eyes water. It's a good movie.
When you're in your divine masculine, you're okay with people seeing that you have emotions.
I must not be in my fully divine, because I feel a little emasculated.
You're not in your fully
in
divine, which is why I frequently tell you we need to work on your security, your confidence.
Yeah, where are we going? Now I'm lost.
I'm sorry. I think back to the question, and I love your answer so far. Where are all the other awakened men? Like, why do you think?
I think they're out there, and I think women just don't want to find them. I think a lot of women.
You're blaming this on the women?
100%.
Hell no.
100%. There are so many good guys that are just like living their life that may not like look like Ryan Gosling, that would treat...
This is true.
Treat women amazing and are fully masculine, divine masculine. Look at Sweet Nick.
I love Sweet Nick.
Sweet Nick is the best.
We were talking about Sweet Laurel's husband.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Laurel, I love you, and your husband Nick, who I call Sweet Nick,
is definitely in his divine masculine.
He is. And he's not like, he's like me. He's just a normal guy.
Well, he's very handsome, but I think what you're saying is you're both very dorky.
Yes.
Right? I'm sorry. I'm not calling Nick very dorky. I'm calling my husband very dorky, but they have a lot of similar qualities.
Dude, we're both dorks. I love that dork.
We love a dork.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying there are great guys out there everywhere. But girls, the first thing they think about is like, oh, what are my friends going to think? Like, how much money does he make? Like, oh, he's not that tall. Oh, like...
Those are all the wrong things to be looking at. I mean...
But if you could get past a lot of all that bullshit, then I think a lot of women would find more...
Good men.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. And on the women's side, I do think that there's...
hold on, this running theme, they know that they're out there. They know they exist, but they're in denial about it. They're like, oh, I have this friend that, like, they're great and I like them, but then they ignore it because they're looking for Ryan Gosling.
True, and we know a lot of people like that. But also, on the women's side of things, I think a lot of men, whether they be the Ryan Goslings of the world or not, are definitely not in their divine masculine, and they have not awakened. And they also are looking for a trophy wife. They're looking for their beautiful arm candy. They're not looking for the right things either, especially in a city like LA or New York or these big cities. I do think it goes both ways, but I do see...
Those are far fewer than the other population of men.
This could be true, but I do see a lot of my female friends who will write somebody off because, oh, he's not my type. Like, you just saw a picture of him. You don't know anything about him. Attraction's important, but I believe you're so attracted to the people who light you up. I mean, attraction goes so far beyond what somebody looks like. And my husband is so handsome, and I'm obsessed with who you are.
Thanks.
It's just a thing. I could go on, but we're going to get to the next one because I threw some shade in there and I said this. I'm trying to find the question, but I guess I don't have to actually find the actual question. I just know that somebody said, how do you deal with one partner? Oh, here it is. How to feel worthy when you make a lot less money than your partner or work has been slow.
So funny story. When Jordan and I were dating, and we started dating on January 1st. So it was like right around like November. We had been dating for like 10, 11 months at that point. And we were sitting on her bed in her old apartment. And I was like, I'd planned on having this conversation with her that, I'm going to tell her how much money I make and, that I'm getting this end of year bonus. And that way we could have the financial conversation because, in call it 4 or 5 months from now, we were going to be looking to get a place together. So I remember like how proud I was to tell her how much money I made, and like we're sitting on the bed and I told her. And then, naturally I was like, do you mind sharing how much money you make? And Jordan does not buy expensive things. She has a very modest car. Like, you would never know that she does very well. And we're sitting on her bed and she tells me the number that she made that year, which was a lot more than me.
Yeah, I will never forget that conversation. My heart was pounding because talking about money, I mean, I've gotten more comfortable with it for sure. But back then, it was weird, like hard to talk about money. And I just remember my heart pounding. And I remember saying to you, because you were so proud and you do so well. And then you said, what about you? And I was like, I think what I made this year is X. And Jonathan, he had a smile that was going from ear to ear that completely diminished because he was just shocked.
It was shock. It had nothing to do with, like, if anything, I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. Mm-hmm. Because now, we have a great joint income, but also, like, what does it matter? Mm-hmm. I was anticipating you saying you made less, it wouldn't have made anything different. And then the fact you made more is just like a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
We are in a weird day and age where you could have a college degree, go to graduate school, work at a PE fund for 2-3 years as an associate, finally make it to partner, and you're not making as much as a 20-year-old who has a really big Instagram account.
Oh my God, there's 16-year-old YouTubers who are making $20 million a year.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I think people do underestimate entrepreneurial influencers, and it's fun. I love to surprise people. I love to roll up in my Honda, wear my Abercrombie clothes that I've had since middle school and just surprise people.
Yeah.
But I think the cool thing here, because the question is about worthiness, is it didn't make you feel emasculated. It didn't make you insecure.
I think the only insecurity I have about money is it has just to do with me. And this is probably where the question stems from, at least I'm trying to read into it that way, but my insecurities with money are around, can I provide for my family? And what do I need to do to provide for my family? And, if my wife makes the same amount of money or more money, I just see it as they're contributing to that goal. My own personal shit with, well, I want to get to a place where I'm making more than her and, she doesn't have to work anymore. Like, that's just a goal for me and stuff that I have to work through. But at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with worthiness as a competition. It's more self-worth that I know I'm doing great. And if you compare how I'm doing to a majority of people in my age group, I am, probably in one of the top percentiles. But that is apples and oranges to the industry that you're in, because over the last decade, your industry has become, a huge piece of the pie when it comes to marketing and brands. And these billion-dollar advertising agencies, even a fraction of that going to, influencers, people who have influence, people who could authentically share a product. It's just nothing we've ever seen before.
Totally. And also, on the note of the question, I look at it as times ebb and flow. And I see Jonathan's potential. I mean, you do so well, but he's such a hard worker. He works harder than me. He works all the time with his all. He gives it his everything. And that's the type of drive that translates into huge success. So you're doing one way right now, which is very well. I also see 10 years down the road, whatever you're doing is massive. And I would love to be, I don't know, a stay-at-home mom is probably never in my future because I love my work. But I would love to just have, freedom to maybe take some time to be with the kids. And I'm with somebody who works really hard, who is going to do really well, who has amazing connections, who's in an incredible industry. So times will shift. So if I acted weird because I make more money than him, that would be so weird, because what about 10 years from now? Who knows where I'm going to be, where he's going to be, if that makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
Totally. So, but I love that question. We have to answer this. Everybody wanted to know. How does he navigate you being so spiritual when he's a skeptic? Okay. I don't think you're a skeptic. She called you a skeptic, just saying.
No, I read it. I want to just touch on one last thing about the previous question. I think if both of us were not doing well and having a hard time, and one of us made more money than the other and was maybe spending more, but then it's like, oh, but I spend more because I have more or I make more, and kind of using it like selfishly, at least as like a rebuttal versus like you both are in this together for the collective. I think then it could, get toxic. And whether you're doing well or not doing well, or one of you is or both of you aren't, like, I think having those conversations are so important, because, you can't just ride the wave and hope that everything is going to work out for you financially. Like, there are some things that you need to do to prepare yourself, and especially if you have a family, that, tomorrow, you could do it tomorrow, you could do it tomorrow, you could do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's, you got to do it today. You got to do something. You just got to take action. So I felt compelled to add that.
I love that.
Okay, what was this next one?
Spiritual
I'm a skeptic. Fuck you.
I can't even talk. How does he navigate you being so spiritual when he's a skeptic? More of a skeptic.
Well, who said that?
Her name is Meredith.
Meredith, I am such a skeptic. You hit it on the head. how do I balance the two? I think, and I've said this before, that, Jordan at the end of the day believes in certain things that I may or may not agree with, but I don't feel that her beliefs are destructive. Her beliefs don't hurt people. She doesn't push her agenda on people. Like, I'm vegan because I want to be. Jordan's actually not vegan right now, and I still am. I'm not like, oh, she's not vegan, I'm not vegan. Like, I love the way I feel when I eat vegan. That's why I am. You've never pushed it on me. You've never pushed it on anybody. And I think when people push their agenda, whether it's good or bad, it's unhealthy and a waste of energy. Like, people should find better things to do with their time than push an agenda, in my opinion. So, going back to the question, her beliefs don't hurt people. And if I am skeptical, I could also just see it from the lens of, this is something that she believes in and it's helping people. If she believes that you have angels on your shoulders and, that if you're having an anxiety, panic attack, that her angels can speak to her and that helps her, and someone that's listening relates to that and it helps them, fuck yeah. Do I believe that there are angels sitting on my shoulders right now? Like, no. Could I put myself in that headspace and think about it? Sure, in the moment I can, and it's a nice thought.
Do you have a wife that can see them? Yes. I see them. That's the problem. I'm not just a spiritual person.
Perfect example.
See things.
Yeah. So, like, see away, my love,
And he supports it. And I think I've told this before. Jonathan's more spiritual than me. He might be, oh, thanks, saying hi to your angels. Hi, angels. He might be skeptical in certain realms, which is cool because he actually keeps me grounded on this earth. But he's so spiritually minded. This man before me was going to the OG yoga classes, not the ones that are for exercise, the ones that are for learning about the Vedas and all that kind of stuff. And you remind me to be in the present moment, to put my phone down, to stay on top of my goals. Like, you live the real spiritual life, and that's why I love you. So I couldn't be as spiritual and out there as I am and be with somebody who, A, was skeptical, and B, wasn't walking the walk. You can be as skeptical as you want because you walk the walk.
Cool.
I love it.
Well, then I will continue my skepticism.
Yes, it's 201, my lucky number. Hello. Check out our angel number merch that just launched. 201. I want to just rapid fire ask you a couple final questions.
Go.
Because I know that Krista's in the waiting room. Okay, so I don't know how we're going to answer this rapid fire, but I have to ask it. How has your sex life changed since having Atticus?
It's gotten a lot better since having Atticus.
Really? Tell me more.
Okay. Well, I guess the way I'm reading that question is like, it was non-existent for the 3 months after, and then it's been picking up since then.
Oh, well, there is no thing happening in that area right after giving birth.
Yeah.
Holy shit. And also the end of pregnancy. So you were very patient, and things have been amazing.
I have been rewarded for my patience.
We keep it spicy. Jonathan's staring at me. One day we'll do a whole sex life episode, you guys. Everybody always wants to know, and we don't really talk about that kind of stuff on this podcast much.
Okay.
One day we'll do a whole sex life episode because everybody wants to know.
Woo is amazing.
Woo. We love Woo.
Woo is
the Woo
great.
offices are right next to our wall here.
I don't know what we would be doing if we didn't have Woo.
Honestly, we need to go pick up a goodie bag next door.
Yeah.
Shout out to Woo.
That and planning intimacy, I think, has been a huge game changer for us.
Because when you have a kid, by the end of the day, at least for me, I am so wiped out. I am so exhausted The only thing I want to do is like chill the fuck out and be alone or be with you, just like talking and reading. So you have to plan and prioritize. And if it's hard the first couple of years after having a kid, don't feel like you're the only ones. It's a new territory. Everybody's figuring it out. And you make it work. When it's your person, you learn how to prioritize. Especially when one person's love language is physical touch.
Yep.
Which is his. Give me all the words of affirmation.
Touch me.
Yes. Okay, what's your favorite thing about each other?
My favorite thing about you is how goofy you are when it's just us.
I'm just a little kid.
But it's stuff that nobody will ever see, that I'm the only one that gets to see it. Mm-hmm. And it just like melts me.
I love that. My favorite thing about you is you're loyal as a golden retriever. You are a golden retriever. I love our language. We have our own language. Okay, final question. Biggest pet peeve about each other. How did we almost forget to answer that one?
Oh, biggest pet peeve. I want to get real specific.
I'll go first.
Go first.
I have misophonia, and I cannot stand the little sounds that people make when they're chewing or brushing their teeth, God forbid. And when Jonathan brushes his teeth, when he's finished brushing his teeth,
most people,
he gags himself.
No, I don't. I just hawk a
the
loogie.
Toothbrush, and it is the worst sound I've ever heard.
The visual in my head was I'm shoving a toothbrush down my throat.
Then what the hell are you doing?
The toothbrush isn't even in my mouth.
Ew.
I'm just hawking.
It's disgusting.
Like you're making the sound like you're
horrible.
hawking.
I will be in my bed reading my Kindle with the red light on. It's 11 p.m. I'm so relaxed. My nervous system is chill. And you make this sound and my whole body goes catatonic. And I will yell out, ew, even though it's 365 days a year.
Yeah, you should just like have
it
better
is a
awareness.
Pet peeve from misophonia girl.
Better awareness.
What's your pet peeve? Pet peeve.
I only can have one.
Mm-hmm. And you have to be quick.
It has to be a good one though. I would say a more recent one is as soon as you're ready, it's time to go.
I have been that way my whole life.
And I like it gets to a point where it's like I don't even have my shorts on, like, and then you get so frustrated with me. It's like, because you're ready in this moment, like, take a chill pill.
It's true. I will say, Jonathan gives me all this time to get ready. He'll watch Atticus, and then I'm ready to go. And he still needs to get ready, but then we're late.
No, and then you'll say like, oh, how come there's not a diaper in the diaper bag, or like something completely random. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just doing everything else.
It's true. It's true. He takes care of all of our human stuff, and I take care of all of our spiritual stuff. And people had questions about that too. So we'll answer that next time.
I mean, it's pretty simple. I just do all the human stuff.
And does it bother you?
No,
Of
because
course.
I just know that you're never going to go to the DMV. So I just make your appointments.
Yeah, he did that on like our second date. It was so amazing.
And then she asked if I would keep her company while we were there. So I did.
Avi. I mean, you're not going to take me there and then leave.
I'm a pocket boy.
He's a pocket boy. I like to just put him in my pocket and take him everywhere.
All right. Also, I hate when you use my toothbrush.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say something else. I thought you were going to say, because we're wrapping up the episode, I hate when you tell people to follow me on Instagram.
Well, I mean, I do hate that also.
He's a private man, but you should still follow him at Inspire People.
Yeah.
He's the best Instagram name. My love, thank you for coming on. This was so special. We didn't even get to half the questions, so we'll have to do a part 2. And I'm not just saying that. Like, I want to schedule a part 2 to come out in October. And
Okay.
with that, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here.
Can we just tell everybody when I'm sitting in the lobby waiting for you because you were late, what you said to me when?
What did I say?
You said, "Hello, beautiful," like as if I was Krista.
A woman. I have no idea what came over me.
Who were you
I was
talking
running
to?
into this building. I was so late, and I saw you, and I said, "Hi, beautiful person."
Yes.
With that type of pause too.
Nick, cue the music.
Woohoo! We did it.